Caden Marshall Smith was born March 11, 2009, 7 pounds, 8 ounces. He looked like a healthy little boy, but just under the surface, his heart was struggling to function normally. David and Melissa Smith of Cary, Illinois, happily expecting their first child, were stunned when they learned that their son would be born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, or HLHS. David is here to tell us about their story.
My wife is Melissa Smith. Our son is Caden Marshall Smith. So Caden was diagnosed with HLHS in utero at the 32nd week of pregnancy. We had an indication right around the 22nd week, and as parents, we felt that couldn't happen to us. So we just figured the baby was in a wrong position, so we didn't get a good view of the heart. We ended up finding out at 32nd week through a regular OB appointment, and they sent us to a level 2 ultrasound, which it was confirmed that our son to be born would have HLHS.
The latest statistics show that 1 in 10,000 children can be born with HLHS. 1 in 10 children can be born with a congenital heart defect. HLHS is the rarest and most severe defect. So, what is it?
Essentially, our son was born without the left ventricle, which is the main pumping chamber to the heart.
Through early detection of this heart defect, parents can choose hospitals and doctors that are suited to handle an HLHS baby.
Melissa and I did a bunch of research to find surgeons in the area, success rates. We met with 3 different surgeons in the Midwest, and we chose Children's Hospital in Milwaukee based on their success factors, based on their in-hospital as well as their aftercare, and their surgical staff as well as their social working network, if you will. And they had a Ronald McDonald House right next door, which helped as well because we were able to stay in the Ronald McDonald House.
After children with HLHS are born, there are 3 surgical procedures that are performed to give the child the best chance of survival and a normal life.
Through a 3-stage surgical procedure, it's called a palliative procedure, they will reconstruct the right half of the heart to do the work of the whole heart. It's not a fix. He'll never have a 4-chamber heart, but they reconstruct the right half of the heart, which is the right ventricle, which normally just pumps blood to the lungs, to pump blood throughout the body. It's a 3-stage palliative procedure. He's had 2 of the 3 so far. He'll have the 3rd when he gets to be about 40 pounds, but his body will tell us that.
HLHS is not new, but these life-saving procedures are.
The fact of the matter is, before 1982, they did nothing for these children. It was called compassionate care, and they died. And through these medical advances and these fantastic surgeons out there that kind of pave a new path, we have Caden now. His first surgery was called the Norwood procedure, and he had that at 6 days old. And he needed the 2nd stage surgery earlier than some of the other kids, and he had what's commonly referred to as the Glen at 2.5 months old. So he'd had 2 open heart surgeries by the time he was 2.5 months old. He's been holding steady. We get regular cardiology appointments to make sure his heart's functioning the way it should be.
Caden has a lower immune system than most children, which means he is more susceptible to colds, and his oxygen saturation levels are lower than normal as well. There have not been enough studies to find out what the long-term effects of low oxygen saturation levels are, but all things considered, Caden is very blessed to be here and doing so well today.
But he's 20 months, and looking at him, he's all boy. So you wouldn't know anything was wrong with him by looking at him. Unless, obviously, you saw him with his shirt off. Then you'd know. So the success, these children, you have, depending, it's a syndrome. It's hypoplastic left heart syndrome. So it could carry a number of other different deformities, if you will. Caden's very lucky. His is isolated to his underdeveloped left ventricle. But the fact of the matter is 30% of these kids don't make it to the age of 5 years old.
Melissa and David are doing everything possible to give Caden a normal childhood. Caden does everything from picking strawberries in the garden with Grandpa, to swimming lessons, to watching Cubs baseball with his dad. The Smith family is even expecting their newest member in late December of 2010.
We plan for the future. We hope for the future. We're scared that there may not be one. So we are going to enjoy every day that we have.